Oh look, it's another bigger bad. This was a f***ing mess. Enough!
This is the exact moment that Markiplier got genuinely angry at Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 and split the internet in two, with some people agreeing with his takes.
I mean, hey, he's completely valid. Completely valid in what he's saying. I agree with pretty much everything he's saying, no joke.
While others who think he's missing the bigger picture have been swarmed by his diehards.
The people who watched Markiplier's stream after he'd beaten it then came over to my stream, and they were not nice.
But who's actually right? Because once you look at the lore, the gameplay, the fan base, and what the developers are trying to do, this conversation becomes a lot more interesting. So let's break everything down and answer this question once and for all. Is Poppy Playtime a good game? Hear me out. Hello and welcome to another edition of Are You Really Going One-on-One with the Great One? A video where no, I am not attacking Markiplier, and no, I'm not defending Poppy Playtime. But yes, I am here to convey my thoughts about what started off as a nice playthrough of Poppy's latest chapter, deteriorating into Markiplier saying he would never touch the franchise again.
I don't think that I am going to play the 6.
So, how did we get here? Just so we're all on the same page, this is what Markiplier said when playing Chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime 5 years ago.
I think that was really fantastic. I think that's the start of something pretty incredible. I think they've got really something going on here.
And here's where we are now with Chapter 5.
This was a f***ing mess.
It becomes apparent that something has gone wrong in the 5 years since Poppy Playtime's debut that has caused not only Mark, but others to express these sentiments that Poppy Playtime isn't a game, but rather an incredible premise with lore wrapped in frustrating game mechanics.
Like if it was a TV show or something, oh man, that'd be the most popular TV show ever. Like actually.
So let's now start with addressing Mark's points, because I want to make it clear that Markiplier, much like Poppy Playtime, has done nothing wrong. He did not send fans of his content to shit on the game, nor has Poppy Playtime led a crusade against one of YouTube's beloved golden boys. Both have their different views on how a modern mascot horror game should run. That doesn't mean the internet needs to go tribal and let the streets run red with the blood of their enemies. Shockingly, both can be right due to how you grade subjectivity compared to objectivity. With that in mind, have my internet handshake, we are all friends here, and sound off in the comments. Just remember, it's not that serious.
Animation good. Clearly, art quality very good.
This is a good start. Agreed. I think it's safe to say that no one can take aim at the animation of these games. The characters that we see are so identifiable with the brand due to their uniqueness. Huggy, Poppy, Catnap, and now even the prototype all look fantastic. And the artwork to create these levels and designs, second to none. Some people, I'm sure, can argue that some of the characters have only been made to sell merch, and really have no other point of being there other than to see dollar signs. And yeah, I think so too for some of them. But I also feel that's the business. If you don't give players and fans new things to look at or invest in, they will lose interest or complain that they're getting nothing fresh. And Mob Entertainment needs to make profit so they can continue to hire people and expand their business. And of course, this franchise. People will see it as selling out, and I hate people who sell out. Like, imagine if I made an advertisement for selling Poppy Gel for profit and put it right here in this video. Speaking of Poppy Gel, would you like to buy some? I mean, I'm not selling it yet, but I could within 10 minutes thanks to Odoo. You see, Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that offers a range of different apps such as websites, CRM, sales, invoicing, and more. But for entrepreneurs like me and Playtime Co, I'll be focusing on e-commerce. Check this out. With a few simple steps, I can craft a classy-looking website with the use of Odoo suggested templates with drag and drop features. Put Poppy in the middle, Pianosaurus at the bottom. I could even hide ARG information on it for those wanting to to find a deeper discount. Simply put down what you're selling for how much and then add your info. That's it. And the best part about it, it's free. Seriously, it says it in black and white right here. Launch your e-commerce for free with its lifetime free first app offer, including unlimited hosting and support. You'll also get a personalized domain name free for 1 year. And Odoo gives you a range of free tools to choose from when you decide that you would like to expand your business, all under one platform and under one simple plan. All 70 applications flow seamlessly into all their apps. So remember, for any of your business needs, you do, I do, we do, Odoo. Back to the video. Now, it's up to you on whether that's right or wrong when it comes to profiting primarily from merch. Cough, Star Wars, cough. But for me, it's a double-edged sword. The only merch I bought from the series is this book, which is well made and feeds into the lore of it all. So I do hold bias in that regard. What about you? Have you bought any merch? But back to the task at hand. Shocker, these were the only positives that Markiplier had about Poppy Playtime.
If it's the first game in a new series, if it's the second, third, I can be more forgiving. This is chapter 5. I should know the motivation very clearly. I should know where I'm going. I should know why I'm going to it. I should know exactly what the character motivations are.
This is where Mark and I differ. For those of us who have deep dived the lore of the game, it's a lot more fresh in our brains on why exactly we're exploring the Playtime collabs. We get a note saying people are still alive. We go back, shit hits the fan, and we keep getting pulled further and further down. This is the premise that works for any of these chapters and hasn't changed since the first one. To say we need more clear motivation can ultimately apply to most horror franchises and should not just be given to Poppy Playtime. Resident Evil's motivation is to survive zombies. Silent Hill is to survive the town. FNAF is to survive your shift. Ultimately, any horror game's motivation is to survive. I understand that Mark may be coming from the viewpoint that this chapter should describe the more micro motivations more clearly, that being trying to find the orphans and defeat the prototype. But this was told throughout. Maybe not as blatantly as other games, but they did give you the overall goal. We know that Mark kind of made his YouTube career from playing the FNAF games and reacting to them. And we also know that he was heavily invested in the lore. Play the clip.
Was that the bite of 87?
And that was due in part to his own fandom of the game. That was his baby. But for people who only play the yearly releases of FNAF and move on as soon as it's finished, they probably had no clue with what that was in reference to. You would have to go deep diving for lore with other theorists like MatPat to explain to you what it actually meant. And only then might you become as invested as Markiplier was. And that's what's happening with Poppy Playtime right now. There are two sections of the fandom, those who play the yearly releases once and move on, and those that continue to play them and theorize on the many lore drops and future direction of the franchise. So the sense of what is my motivation is there for those who continue to obsess over Poppy Playtime, much like Mark did with FNAF, well, that is until Security Breach, will always differ. And I think the reason why those motivations were harder to remember or attain by Mark is due to his next point.
As much as I like the hair girl, that was random. As random could be, being like, hey, here's a cool set piece.
And this is a good critique. When it comes to Lily Love Braids, when it comes to Giblet, when it comes to Chum Chumpkins, we have very little loyalty to them or care. And that's due in part to how new they are and how Mob chose to make the game flow. When we look at our journey throughout all these chapters, we can break it down into 4 steps: cutscene, exploration, puzzle, and then chase. Rinse and repeat. And it's due to this formula that we forget our overall intentions, because one of the game's biggest problems is the puzzles. Yeah. If you've played the game, I'm sure you can agree with me that the puzzles will more often than not have you tearing your hair out and just praying to get it done so you can continue the story. And each chapter had that section that really ruined the flow. Chapter 1 with the pylons on the catwalk, Chapter 2 with the pit, pylons, Chapter 3 with the jump pads, Chapter 4 with the gas pipes. But there are good puzzles, enjoyable puzzles that add to the atmosphere. For instance, the scene with Bunzo Bunny in Chapter 2, where you have to hit the right buttons, otherwise he'll be lowered down and end you while Mummy Longlegs watches on. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Because even if you fail once, it doesn't ruin the flow. as you'll know what to do next time because the trial and error is quickly remedied by the simplicity of having one objective: hit the buttons. But it's when you get to areas like this that it can become so overwhelming that you choose to stop playing rather than frustrate yourself for the next 15 minutes trying to figure out, I'm inserting what into what? I feel that these type of puzzles are carryovers and homages to OG survival horror games like Resident Evil, where those puzzles were invented by Satan himself and made absolutely no sense unless you purchased an actual Brady Games guide to tell you what to do. They were put in there purely as filler with the intention from the developer to say over 8 hours of gameplay, when really it was 2 hours of gameplay and 6 hours of backtracking trying to figure out just what the to do. But I also think that people put puzzles in not only to expand playtime, but because of a much more unfortunate business mind frame: refunds. You see, Steam has a policy that if you have less than 2 hours of playtime on a game, you can choose to refund it up to 14 days after your initial purchase. So what a lot of indie horror game devs were finding was that because their games were so short and fell under 2 hours, people would scam the system and refund their purchase even though they beat the entire game. So you guessed it, convoluted puzzles and an amazing amount of backtracking were implemented to curb this. Instead of devs trying to make a tight game, they instead had to worry about actually paying their bills, and to do so, started to institute puzzles. And I fear since Chapter 2, Mob may have done this too, but forgot to get rid of it when gameplay and cutscenes alone put it well over 2 hours in subsequent chapters. Looking at my gaming habits, I will never refund a purchase even if I finished it in under 2 hours, because I know how much hard work most game devs go through to get a product out to us. I prefer the game to be tight with minimal backtracking rather than the implementation of puzzles. But I know I am but a small percentage of what most indie devs have to deal with when it comes to customers refunding their games. So we could be the sum of all the evils. And it's these types of puzzles that, although may not be intended like that in Chapter 5, definitely give me that feeling of more frustration than accomplishment. So with that being said, I would love Mob to go back to the Mummy Longlegs challenge type segments for their puzzles, rather than the f***ing pylons. But that's not my biggest critique, nor is it Markiplier's. It's actually this.
We put more chase sequences in. Chase, 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 chase. I do not like my gameplay to be trial and error.
Now, we all know that chases have defined Poppy Playtime, and I'm going to say that they're done spectacularly. The frantic pace, the looking behind you to see how close the monster is, the sound design, all done really well the first time you play it, because
as soon as you die, it loses all of its value!
Markiplier hits it on the head here. If you had to do the same sections over and over and over again, where the only way to get through it is to memorize every turn, activation, and game mechanic, and you have no leeway to make a mistake, it becomes very frustrating. And I said this while I was playing too. I have notes. I have notes about this. And it's this train chase with the prototype where I can best show you what I mean. As we know, this is the final chase of Chapter 5, and it utilizes every single mechanic we were taught in the game to help us survive. But it gives you no time or indication of what to do. What do I mean? Let me show you. I don't think I've got time to do it. This is me respawning into the game after a failed getaway attempt. Fine. Now I want you to notice which direction I'm facing. I want you to notice the giant battery on the ground that we've been taught to put in its assigned space to activate power. Would you not think that this was our goal to continue our escape from the prototype? Well, no. You see, in the sound onslaught of the train speeding ahead, mixed with cries from experiment 1006 getting closer, you may hear Giblet say, "We have to disconnect the train carriages." Now, my dumbass thought if I put the battery into the slot, that would make the train do it automatically. But no, the battery is for a later time. Instead, we have to turn around 180 from the direction the game spawns us to go towards the creature who is chasing us and we've been running away from, to pull these two levers to detach the carriage. That right there is the fundamental problem. The objective of how to finish the segment comes down to a lot of trial and error, with no clear indication of where to go. You would think in a chase sequence that running away from something is the right thing to do, but because they change it up and make you run towards the danger while respawning you facing away from the direction you're meant to be heading, that makes it feel clumsy and, dare I say, contradictory. There are other examples of this, like when we have the blacklight scene in the dollhouse, or when we have to escape Lily after running up the stairs. I mean, just look at me here thinking the giant horn would do something to hinder Lily. Nope. It's just there for scenery. But on the other hand, I also understand how hard it is to find that sweet spot from the devs' point of view. They want to add some obstacles, otherwise it just becomes a quick time event sequence, which is just dull and unwarranted, dare I say, antiquated. So how much do you add, and is your own enjoyment mirrored by a majority of the player base? It is tough. I love the chase sequences, but I hate the overuse of varied game mechanics to finish them. I mean, Mark sums it up in just one word.
Enough!
And this is what it all comes down to. If you played the game and enjoyed it, that's awesome. If you played the game and hated it, that sucks. But we then have people who have both praised and criticized the game without even playing it, just because of what they saw their favorite creators say or react to. Well, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, because this game hasn't been released on consoles and people may not even be able to afford it. So this is their only way of experiencing what the rest of us are talking about. I just want people to have their own thoughts and opinions, because so often people have this parasocial relationship with creators, where they feel they're friends and will do what a good friend does by backing them up, even if they shouldn't, because spoilers, they're not your friends. At the end of the Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 playthrough, Markiplier himself said he was grumpy and hungry while playing the game. He also has the look of a man who went through a hell of a press junket for his film, Iron Lung. And this is where I want to make my final point regarding the drama that was Mark saying his actual thoughts. I saw Iron Lung and neither loved it or hated it. I personally thought it was 30 minutes too long. I thought some of the moments that were supposed to be poignant were too convoluted and muddled. But I also thought the scope, set, sound design, the practical effects, and particular moments of acting were top notch. Does that make my opinion on the movie mean it's the be all and end all? Obviously not. Who the f am I? And this is my final thought when it comes to Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. It's not perfect. It's also not trash. It is in fact my second favorite chapter after 3. And ultimately, we see the improvements that this indie dev team, yes, indie dev team, is making to improve on the formula. From Chapter 4 to Chapter 5, you cannot deny just how improved the game is. The fact that they talk to their community and take on feedback, as well as continue to employ more roles for the future of the series, is a very positive sign. The fact that it has sold 250,000 copies in a single week shows that the fandom is there and they want more. I just hope for Chapter 6, which should definitely be the final chapter in this Poppy Playtime arc, that they take on board what people loved about the game and either discard or rework the segments that people didn't. Because even though Markiplier says this,
I don't think that I am going to play the 6. I truly just don't want to, so I'm not going to. I think this is it for me. I don't know how many more fucking chapters they're gonna go through, but hey, more power to you. I hope it's better next time. I won't know, because I'm not gonna play it.
he'll be back. He always comes back.